Bob. A snuffling wombat has commandeered my studio space here. Whew. Yesterday, he crept into my gooseberry patch and absconded with one of my prize corn muffins. Such renegades. Ooh. Welcome to another Storyteller Series with James Kevin O'Connor. Today, we are featuring too much Zoom in the room. We must be wary of another Zoom. It's the video recording Zoom. So if that is perhaps present, you must guard against too much Zoom in the room. And I have my trusty broom to sweep the room clean of any unwanted Zoom. No, today's performance is the recording Zoom. The H6 Zoom audio recorder for podcasters and singer-songwriters and musical artists everywhere around the world. This is a man-spackling of technological wonder that will have you gasping for air from the outset of this presentation. So with that said, take it away, James.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Storyteller Series. Is there too much Zoom in the room? English Bob, thank you for that wonderful introduction and signing us on to the show today. I appreciate that. So today I want to talk about the Zoom H6 recorder for you singer-songwriters and for you podcasters out there. A lot of you guys know all about this and probably have used it for a while, like myself. I've been using this thing since 2015, I believe, when I first started podcasting. And I've used it for recordings too, for writing, for doing all kinds of things. So it's a doozy. Really love this unit, and I think you guys will really enjoy it too. So let's kick it off by taking a look at what this machine is all about, and why would you want to have something like this? Like, why do you need this? And it's got so many features I can't even begin to tell you, like how useful this thing is. So first of all, if you're doing multi-track recording, this thing is just great because it's got a whole lot of inputs. It's got this really cool carrying case. You unpack it and take it with you. It's so small, it could probably almost fit in a glove compartment. Not quite, but that's how small it is. Carries the microphones with it, the cables. Everything is all encased in one spot, which I love. It takes XLRs, and it also takes a 1/4 inch, both. And it also has a couple of microphones too, which are really, really convenient to have. And, when you take this thing out and start working with it, you're not going to believe the quality of it. It's like, wow, this thing is almost like, the old tape machines when we had them back in the day, the big Studers with the 2-inch tape. It's like, did we record this on that? It's like, it's so crystal clear. So it has a whole bunch of things for powering up microphones. If you have high quality microphones in the studio, it's got the power supply for it. Also runs on batteries. So if you have an occasion to be in a place where you don't have a power supply, the batteries work just great. One word of caution. The batteries, if you don't pay attention, and this has happened to other podcasters, not myself, you can get in a situation where you forgot to check and you're halfway through the interview and boom, it just dies because the batteries were not charged up. So I never use them, but the option is there if you want to go out, like if you're in your car and you're on a road trip and you want to you want to do something with that. However, the USB is there in the car too, so you can charge that. The other thing, keep in mind, if you're using an iPad or a laptop, you can use the USB cable to connect to the Zoom H6, and that's your power supply right there. So you never have to worry about how am I going to power this thing. No adapter, no big cables and transformers or any of that stuff. Really, really nice to have that feature. What else do we want to talk about? So many different things. The microphones are a real hit. I love the microphones that this thing comes with. Comes with two. They're both stereo. Okay, they have there's an XY microphone, and if any of you audiophiles out there, like engineers, like to record with the XY, and you know what I'm talking about when you have one mic go this way and one mic go that way, it's like, wow, this is really super cool because you get this stereo imagery, which is very unusual and very attractive to the ear when you hear it. It just sounds great. And the other microphone is just a round microphone, and that doesn't do an XY, but it does front and back stereo too, so you can put it in the room like vertically if you want, and it'll capture either sound, either side, and give you that stereo simulation, which is nice too. And having all 6 inputs is great. Like I said, it takes 1/4 inch, it takes XLR, so you can have a stereo microphone on the front of it, either one, which is on tracks 1 and 2, and that's your left and right coming in. But then you have your other 4 tracks, which are tied to the XLR 1/4 inch input. So you can have 6 microphones going simultaneously and record high quality, like especially like if you have a band and you want to just set the stuff up quick and put some mics around the room. Say you're working on a song and you're trying to get an arrangement down. You don't have to go crazy like, putting everything through a mixer. You can do it just through this and then download the files individually and mix them if you wanted to just put it together and say, hey, how does this sound? One little event that happened to me, I want to talk about listening to the room before you record. And this was a really strange thing. The way I record is I usually do my demos on this machine, and I do 3 tracks. I do the stereo, and I'll do one direct output from my Taylor guitar into this, and then I'll do either one of the stereo mics or 2 other high-quality mics kind of surrounding the guitar. So that's all fine and good, but the other part of my method is to record all the tracks. When I'm down on Music Row, we record everything with full band, and then they send the files back to me, and I put them on Logic, and I see, all right, let me start working on the vocals here, and see if there's any overdubs I want to do. And one time, I had been doing my vocal, my finished vocal in my studio, and I think it was a rock song because I was kind of like belting it out kind of loud. And the engineer, I sent it down to him, and he called me up like about a week later. He goes, I'm working on your track, and he goes, there's some kind of like sound I can't get rid of. He goes, what did you use? And we went over all the equipment list and what we used and what I used and what he's using. Everything matched up like we always do it. And then he sent me the track. I guess he struggled with it, and it was terrible. It was like, what is going on? There was this shrill, like shrieking thing. You had to listen. It was just penetrating the rest of the track and like messing the whole thing up. So unbeknownst to me, I started and this wasn't until a long time later. It took me a long time to figure this out because we fixed up whatever we did, but I realized I had this guitar tree in my studio, and on it was hanging a dobro. And of course, I'm belting away with headphones, so I can't hear anything in the ambient room, what's going on. And I'm just hearing the whole band, and I'm singing my heart out. And I guess the vocals got into the dobro and started this shrill sound. and it was feeding back through the room and back into my microphone without me even hearing it. And it got communicated on my file back to the engineer. And I didn't find this out till a long time after, but my whole thesis here is make sure you check out the room, like walk through the room, play your guitar, do your singing, beat on a pot, like listen for throwback sounds that if they're not, if they don't belong there, you got to do something to treat the room. So this was a really strange thing that happened to me, and I just wanted to share it so that it doesn't happen to you, because man, like trying to find that, like we couldn't do it from our two locations. We didn't know where it was coming from. I finally figured that out. But anyway, make sure you have a good room. And other features of this, it's got, of course, the headphone outputs, all that kind of stuff. It's got great LEDs. It does MP3 or WAV files. I always download the WAV files. I'm big on, I want this thing I want everything I do to sound the best possible way, especially if you're broadcasting a show. As a podcaster, you want your voice to come across on that microphone like, man, you the boss. This thing should be rocking. And no excuses. So that's a must. And of course, same thing goes for recording music. You don't want anything inferior. You want nothing but the best for your songs. So this will help to that end, whether you're doing a demo or whether you're trying to do a fine recording to put on a record. This thing can cut it. So I highly recommend that you look into this and use it for what you're trying to do. Some of the other features on this thing, I'll talk about files for a minute too. When you are, especially for a podcaster, like if you're doing your shows, what I tend to do is make sure I download the WAV files out of the H6 as soon as I finish. Because unless you're a super, organized freak on the machine itself, the machine can get kind of filled up after a while, whether you're using the card. It has a data card you can put in it, or I never even bother with that. I immediately say, as soon as I'm done, it's out and it's on my computer. And for instance, I'll show you some files here that show how I take all the content of each show and I label it, and I put together the artist's name, the episode, and then in that folder goes everything related to that show. My dedicated WAV file for my voice, my guests' dedicated WAV file for their voice, and then any content, songs, screenshots, photographs, any kind of dialogue that we have, anything written down, it all goes in that folder, so you can always track it through the show. Same thing if you're working on an album, you would do the same thing. You would title the album on your folder, and all of the songs and the pieces of those songs, whether you're recording on Logic or Pro Tools or whatever your method is. So just a tip there for organization. I would suggest always take your WAV files out right away and put them in that folder. It takes 2 seconds. I mean, after the show's done, it downloads like really, really quickly, and then you don't have to go chasing things, because the worst thing for us content creators is creating too much content. And I go through this same thing on my desktop, where at the end of the week, sometimes it's just a maze of files, photographs, videos. And somebody just taught me a really cool trick, by the way, for saving memory. Just want to throw this in because I just learned this. And it's amazing how many things you should know but you don't know. For me, it was like I was using AI, and I think I was using DeepSeek, and I complained about my desktop. I can't even see it. It's such a mess. So he suggested take all of your stuff, just swipe it all together in one package, and label it in a folder called January 2026 or February 2026, whatever time frame you're doing. And then that saves a ton of memory that your computer is like slaving through. I mean, I don't care how big of a server you have, a computer you have, you can bog these down with all this content because it's holding video and it's holding, high quality audio files. So just swipe the whole screen, gather all the stuff and stuff it in one folder, and all of a sudden your computer's running like silk. And for that particular method too, if you were trying to remember, like, I had this file and I can't remember, you probably remember the month that you were working on it. So just another really cool little hack to get you into having like a much smoother operation. And then you can always go back and open the month of that folder and put all the files in the respective folders within that folder, so you're a little more organized. So anyway, that's what I wanted to impart to you guys. I'm going to put the link for the Zoom H6 down here underneath the video. And when you go to the link and view the new one, it looks like Elon Musk designed it, or it came out of like space or something. It's all ramped up with bells and whistles. And thankfully, I have pretty much all of the things on mine that the new one has. There are upgrades. There's some stuff that, incorporate the state of the art of the day on there that I don't have, but there's nothing I think on that I would miss. And to that point, if you decide to buy, one that's an older model, I don't think you'll be disappointed. But check out the new model. It's all of what I have. Does all the things that I describe with a bunch of upgrades on there. So you'll be happy to take a look at that. And by the way, I am an Amazon affiliate, so if a purchase happens, a sale happens from this, I benefit at no cost to you, of course. So I really appreciate that. So that's a wrap for me today. English Bob is going to take you out and give you a little sign off. And I thank you guys for being here. If you have any comments on the show, Storyteller Series, and the product, just leave them underneath the video. I'd love to hear from you guys. So until the next time we meet again, you guys be blessed.
Kudos, James. That was a majestic mountain of monumental proportions. It was a granular and substantive information galaxy. I feel like I've been to Pluto and back. And now, armed with the necessary knowledge of the Zoom H6, I can conquer any formidable challenge in my path. A small reminder for those of you who have been struggling with the depression dumplings, James' book, 7 Steps to Mental Freedom, is still available for your delightful discovery below this video. And don't forget, my fellow Chefkins, to prescribe to this channel. Indeed, both of the links are down below. Just run your mousey across the page and you will have your book and your prescription before you can say Dr. Woofenboot. Until the next time we meet again, I'm English Bob.